I was thinking, do I put a baseball cap on? And then I was like, no, I'll put a cricket cap on. I've got my England Test cap over there. How are you all? Who have we got? Who's here? It still says waiting, which means you haven't hit unlisted.
Oh, I hit it when I hit it.
Ah, you did. Okay, who we got? So, Mr. Dan, how are you? Tom C. Oh, yeah, it's definitely a bad hair day. It's a bad hair year with this. I think you rechanged it to 11.
It's going to go live right now.
Well, how come I'm not seeing it live?
It should pop up like any second now. It's just this whole buffering thing between Sling Studio and connecting to the actual stream.
Oh, it's because it's got a 22-second countdown on it. Yeah. Hey! Wow, it is. We are actually live, so we're going to confuse people. There's probably one email going out saying 10:30, another one going out saying 11. So I'm sorry. We're here. We're big. We're bad. We're back. We're live. How is everyone? So we're going to continue the, I'm just looking at the chat here. We're going to continue the live mixing of Catalyst. And for those of you that are Academy members, you know how this works. This is what we do. And so if you haven't already downloaded the multi-tracks, they are below here. So it's where it says click to download multi-tracks, please download them. You can also join the Academy free for 30 days and join us. Join us. That's my zombie thing. Join us. Anyway, I think I did that joke last time, so I should probably get away from it. Hey, Rob in Holland. Hey, Lewis. Hey, Adam. How are you? Pastafare. Like that. How are you? Daniel, hey. Jovan. Wallace. Come to Brazil. I would love to. I've never been to Brazil. Wow, I just realized that. I consider myself fairly well traveled. I've been to every region of the world. How about that? But I haven't actually been to Brazil. I've been south, but I haven't been to Brazil. Oh, I'm busted. I'm just thinking to myself, how could I have not been to Brazil? Especially, you know, being a football fan, or soccer, as Americans like to say, a football fan. How could you not go to Brazil? I mean, Pele, I rest my case. Pastafari is in hospital watching on my iPad. Thank you, Wallace. Coffee. No, mine is PG Tips. Courtesy of Mr. Dave Merkel. Thank you, Dave Merkel, for my PG Tips. My wife knows me well, so we have a ton of PG Tips. Basically, between my wife and Dave Merkel, I think I have enough PG Tips to last me all the way through the lockdown. So thank you ever so much. Hey all, it's Rick. Hey Rick. Hey Andy, Country Tea. Hey Jean-Francois, Darko, Ashley, T-Dog, Keel Mix, St. Louis Fear, Tonio Ruiz. Wow. Anita, how are you? Delvin. Loads of wonderful people. Johan. This is lovely. Great to see you all on here. It was all a little bit impromptu, the live thing. We talked about it last night. We have a bunch of videos in the can that we thought we could put up. But then we realized this is the time to be live. And also, I wanted to get back to this mix. So why don't we listen where we left off? Now, if you remember where we left off last time, and we'll pick it up next week inside of the Academy. So remember, at the moment, there's a 30-day free trial. There's a few things going on, and there's a few things coming up. First of all, there's a bunch of giveaways around. We're giving away... what are we giving away, Eric? We're giving away Sooth 2. We're giving away... the Game Changer Audio. That's an insanely good prize. It's about $1,400 or $1,500 worth of gear. And I absolutely love that. The thing about the Game Changer is it's got about 55 different ways of crushing and distorting and saturating and doing stuff. But the blend control, you bring it back in, especially when you do that on-off kind of dying tube sound. there were so many amazing comments yesterday about the Game Changer audio, people talking about how it reminded them of like Bowie, and I could see it in the hands of somebody like Nigel Godrich or Brian Eno, of course. That is an amazing tool. So, yeah. So really, really exciting. And, you know, Vance Powell, name check him again. Vance is the one that turned us on to it. So thank you, Vance. From Saturn. Hello there in Saturn. Team Eric. Yay. Hey there in Norway. And hi, Dave from Manchester. How are you, Dave? We do love Manchester. Talk about music scene. Wow. Let's not even open the can of worms of how many incredible bands came from Manchester. So yeah, you can join the Academy for free for 30 days. We've extended the free from 2 weeks to 30 days. So for many of you, that might last the remainder of your lockdown here. So there you go. You can go for free. You can download these multi-tracks. Next week, we will do, you know, you've got to tell Matt to take off that live thing because YouTube's not announcing it because it thinks that we're not going live for 30 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So hello, everybody that's watching. Please hit that like button and share to let everybody know we're live. That would be absolutely amazing. You know, yeah, because it's still unlisted.
All right, I'll change it. I'm going to change it right now.
Okay. I'm a goner. He's a goner. Mickey Mess Studios in Switzerland. Oh, in Montreux. Oh, I'm envious of you. Hello in Chicago. Happy Thursday, says Council of Giants. You have to ask Dave Darlington whether he's a City or United fan. Oh, hey, Chernobyl Studios. I owe you a call. I wonder if I have time after this to give you a call. I've got like 8 calls I'm supposed to make. We need to talk. Chernobyl Studios. If you haven't checked out Chernobyl Studios, please do go over and check it out. An amazing guy, wonderful channel, and go support him. Really, really amazing. Gilbert Spader's on the Lake Geneva shoreline. Yeah, okay. I'm not going to complain. I live in the hills in Laurel Canyon. I'm surrounded by trees. There's hummingbirds outside the window, quite frankly. There's squirrels. There is nature all around the place. We have deer. I am not going to complain. I'm in quote-unquote LA, but in the canyon, in the hills. So, you know, I wouldn't mind looking at Lake Geneva at the moment, to be honest. But still, you know, great. Yeah, no, he's lifted it, Tom. And now they're telling out. Okay, so let's get back to the song. Why don't we listen to where we're at? So just to... oh, nope. Forgot. Giveaway coming up. If you work in essential services at all, any kind of essential services that are keeping the world, not this country, but the whole world, this country included, keeping it running. If you're working in the essential services, I would love it if you wanted to come and pick a free course from Pro Mix Academy. So go to www.promixacademy and email support@producelikeapro and let us know if you have an ID badge. That would be great, saying that, you know, you're a doctor and nurse, whatever it is. We've already given away hundreds and hundreds of free courses to essential workers. So thank you, everybody that keeps the world running at the moment. God bless you all. You're doing an amazing job. And if you're a doctor or nurse, an essential worker of any description, I do not want to... We all know what essential workers are. There's so many people keeping this. If you're working in a grocery store at the moment, you're an essential worker. If you're driving a truck full of groceries across the country, you're an essential worker. If you're a farm worker going out every day, digging, doing whatever it is to create crops to feed the world, you are an essential worker. We all know what essential workers are. It's basically everybody that's not us sitting at home, watching TV, enjoying electricity and internet, while everybody else working in coal and that has to dig up coal, has to work at a wind turbine, or whatever. All of the things, people that create our electricity, essential workers. There's so many of you. So if you consider yourself to be an essential worker, there's people still working at daycare centers. If you're a daycare center looking after kids because doctors and nurses have to go and work, to save lives, you're an essential worker. I think it's pretty clear cut what an essential worker is. The police, the fire brigade, the military, everybody who's still out there while we sit here in the comfort of our own homes making music. Please don't swear. YouTube will block and not let any swearing go down. We do have that feature on. We're not big on the old swearing, so I totally understand if you're passionate, but yeah, and as Jimmy says, thanks out for all, so shout out for all of the essential workers. Yes, thank you. You all rock. Okay, so we left off this song. Oh, and don't forget, huge mix competition coming up. Huge, like probably the biggest amount of prizes I've ever seen in a mix competition. Okay, I left off. We did some work on the drums. Didn't do anything on the bass, barely anything on guitars, and you can download the multi-tracks, and this is how it sounds. No samples were harmed in the making of this. No reverbs were harmed even. No, there's a reverb on the room mic to make it bigger, but there's no snare verb or kick verb. So have a listen, see where we're at. Oh, it's all right, John. People get passionate. It's okay. Don't worry. Yeah, daycare sisters. Yeah, daycare workers. Daycare workers. Oh, amazing.
You once lit me up like a cigarette, and you burned me down, and now there's nothing left. You were the one who put a spark to this. You were the gasoline. You were the catalyst.
Fantastic. Okay, I'm just going to turn my voice down a little bit. 1, 2, 2, 2. So Eric can turn the output up a little bit, maybe.
Yep, I got it on this side.
Okay, great. Because it sounded like I was louder than the music. Okay, so I'm happy with that for a start. Remember, we did this live. Again, no samples are harmed in this. I'm going to listen to the drums in solo. Just quickly, here we go. Go a little bit later on in the song. Ah, thanks, Marcel. It's very kind of you. A quick check on the phase relationship on the snare. So we're going here. You see samples up here, and there it is. So the bottom snare is about 40 samples out. Let's just double check. See, sometimes this is the problem with this, is it's never quite right. You invert the phase when you're recording. That says 39. This is going to read a bit more, but probably about here. So time adjuster is set for 138 samples on there, 70. I'm going to bring this up a little bit to like, so let's try 85. The reason why I'm doing this is because I want to make sure I got the body on the snare. Now, a couple of fun things we did is we sidechained the kick. You can watch last week's video and get a little bit more understanding of what we're doing here. I love that you can hear the bleed. But bearing in mind, this band was in the room live recording. Now, we did guitar overdubs, don't get me wrong. We did the vocal again. We didn't use the live one. If it had been amazing, we would have. I think it was pretty good. But you can hear everybody in the room. Let's see if I'm... done so much work to those room mics that you can't. Okay, so I like the kick, and I've pulled out some 80 and 100 here, 110-ish area to let the bass guitar shine. Let's have a listen. There's a lot of bleed coming from that low tom. So what I'm going to do is we're going to try some different, we're going to try some fun things. So I'm going to see if it's possible to grab, dum-de-dum-dum-dum-dum. What I'm going to try and do is use some of the new plugins we've got. And, experiment a little bit, because we do the video and we use the new plugin, and you probably want to see me use it in an actual mix, not just, hey, here's a new plugin. So why don't we do that? I'm going to go for the AIX DSP and see what I can do, see if I can work any miracle. Now what I'm trying to do here is just get that low on the kick. Pull out the low mid kind of and keep the clickiness. So I'm sort of I'm using it to shape it quite dramatically.
Raise the plug-in just a little bit.
Oh,
the bottom is getting
yep. Oh, huge difference. Huge. Listen to that. So have a listen to this. Let's take that little area where you can hear a ton of floor bleed. Okay. So now that I've done that, I am going to side chain that. Yep. So I'm going to copy this down here. Okay. So it's now on the other one. And you're probably going, well, but Warren, that won't work with the, because it won't work with the other sound because the outside kick mic was a long way away from the kick. Have a listen. The problem is like it's picking up so much floor tom, though, more the rumble. But what about if we try this? Now we're sending from bus 1 to the snare bottom to pull out some of the kick. So why don't we key from bus 1 as well? We'll need to make sure it's on pre-fade. Ah, you know why it didn't work? Because I did it pre. It's got to be post-fade. Because it's not going to have any of the benefits of what I just did. See? We all make mistakes. But what I'm going to have to do is bring that kick in as well. Amazing how easy that is. Yep, so what the mistake I made, just for those of you following, is I was taking it off bus 1, which I'd done pre-fade on purpose because I wanted to, show you how the snare bottom sounded. So the problem with that is like that's really smart because being in pre-fade means that I can hear the snare isolated on its own, because it's sending from the kick, but you don't audibly hear the kick. It's the same as for those of you that understand SSL consoles, floating the channel. You're floating the output of the channel to the mains, to the left and right, but all the auxiliaries and everything are still working. So that's what was happening there. The problem is, well, being pre-fade wasn't going through the plugins. Doi! At least it wasn't going through that last gating. So anyway, doesn't really matter. It all works now. Sounds good. So now let's have a listen together. wow, it's super aggressive now. It's like, whoa! Okay, so a couple of things we have to do. I'm going to bring my vocal mic down a little bit more again. So if you want to turn it up, you can. Okay. Marcel, no, I haven't tried any of the Warm Audio stuff as yet. I know it looks like a Neve, but I have not compared it to one as yet. So I really don't want to. One of the things that I think a lot of us probably get annoyed about is like, experts on stuff that don't even own them or use them. And I never want to be that person. I never want to be like, this is what I think about this product. I can only speak from experience of using it. And that's really kind of that's and having never used a Warm Audio 1073 clone or copy or whatever the correct term is, I won't speak to it. So it's not, you know what I mean? But if I get to use it, I'll let you know. Okay. Da-la-la-lum. I'm going to go and do a little bit of a search. Oh no, it's okay. All right. That kick is too big. It's absolutely massive. So we don't, we got really carried away. I got really carried away. A lot of what I could do here, I could do with the Omni channel as well on the kick. Big fan of Andrew Scheps' Omni channel. I want to give out a name check for some amazing stuff that we get to use. I mean, that kick is super, super hollow. It's probably more than it needs to be. We can relax a lot of what I did. So I'm going to bring up some of the low mids again. Take down some of the boost. This is what happens when you're mixing. You get in there, you fall in love with an idea, and then you go, yeah, I did a little bit too much of that. That's better. Still sounds massive, still got a ton of low end. Remember the great Jim Scott said to me, the loudest thing in the mix is the last thing you worked on. No lack of hi-hat in that mix. Let's bring it down. Let's pan that cymbal away a little bit. This is just an overdub crash cymbal. Cool. So let's do a couple of fun things. We haven't done any reverb on the snare. So take a send from the snare. Now, lots of people have said to me, oh, Warren, you need to use quick tools in Pro Tools and like you can do it with one button and stuff. Yeah, I know that. Just to explain why I don't do that is because you're not all Pro Tools users. So I'm explaining to you what I'm doing, because if I do something with a quick tool that creates a brand new bus and creates a send and everything, that might be cool for those of you that understand what I just did. So I do it really slow, as slowly as I can and methodically as I can, so you know what I'm doing and explain it. I'm not here to sort of impress people with my knowledge of my particular DAW, because everybody's DAW is going to have a different set of quick keys. But if I say to you, okay, I'm going to the snare top now, and I'm sending from the snare top. So what I've done is I've taken an auxiliary there. Then I create a stereo auxiliary or bus, depending on what you wanted to call it. Then I make that input also 7. Well, it's coming in 7 and 8 because it's stereo. And then I call that. And again, all of this can be done on a quick key. But if I do that, you will not know what I'm doing if you, A, don't know the quick key in Pro Tools, or B, aren't a Pro Tools user. So just want to address that, because I think every single video I do, there's always somebody that emails me or messages me. And God bless you, I understand. Yes, I know there's lots of really fast shortcuts, especially in the latest version. But I do this because we're not only teaching to proficient level Pro Tools users. We're teaching to everybody across the world, beginner, intermediate, advanced. And yes, there's fast ways of doing things, but they're not going to be able to explain what they do. I get people, for every one person that tells me I could have done it quicker and I could label it and I could put the reverb, another one is like, oh, you should have all listed easily to get to. Yes, but I'm trying to help people here and not be superior and be like, oh, I have all these amazing tools and I'm so much smarter. Nah, it's not what it's about. So I'm sending from here. So we take our snare top. I'm sending from bus 7, and I'm coming in snare reverb here. I'm going to use a stereo input. So if it was split mono, I'd have to send stereo in 7 and 8, but it's not. And I'm going to grab, what should I grab? I'll grab an H reverb. I haven't used this on snare for a while, and I like the interface for those of you that aren't aware of it here. The H verb is pretty tasty. It's really straightforward and easy to use. It's like reverb time in the middle, a really straightforward graphic. Dry wet's there. You can put the dynamic on there, meaning you can compress the signal after it's being played. But there's no like fancy EQ built into it. It's done really simply. So I'm going to grab. Normally I'd grab like an REQ, and a lot of people say to me, you should stack all the 4 plugins you use all the time. Well, I don't want to do that because I don't want to give you guys the illusion that we're only doing that because there's so many great companies. So why don't we go to something a little different and go to, we use FilterBank a lot. So let's go to FilterBank, which is Mac DSP, a favorite of many, many professionals. Colin's a great guy. The products are really easy to use. So I'm going to high pass, see how straightforward it is. Going to low pass, I don't know, I'll grab it around about here-ish. Oh, wrong one. I grabbed the wrong one. Talking and doing this. So we're going to wipe off a lot of the, grab the wrong one again. It won't let, there you go. Thank you very much. And we can, it's more about the low mid for me, I think. So if you see here, I'm at about 350. That's great. And then it's like I like body on the snare, but I don't know. Maybe we'll come back a little bit. Maybe we'll come back to about 150. How about that? 150-ish. And then on the top, we're at 4K. Let's go up to as much as 7. There you go. So we're keeping it pretty broad. So it's quite a broad range on the snare there. And remember, this is coming out of a live snare. It's not a sample. Quite often, the Andy Wallace technique we talk about, you use a snare sample, and that triggers the reverb. And that's a really smart idea because then you get a clean reverb and you don't get the hi-hat bleed going into it. But we're not using any samples on this because, not everybody has the same samples. If you want to try it and download the multitracks, please do. But here we go. Okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to go to bus 7 and 8. There we go. pretty tasty. I like it. So I'm just shortening the delay time. The room that I had, the natural room, was about a second-ish length. So we can blend it into the size of the room and see what that sounds like. That sounds tight. So that's at 1.5. Now, many of you know this trick to take between snare hits for decay times. So, you know, you can measure between snare hits, go to the time, and it says 1 second there. See? 1 second, 0.27. So we could do that. The only reason why I don't do the exact, and I saw somebody doing this on a sort of beginner level video a couple of years ago, and I totally understand. The problem with doing it the exact length, like if I do that, is that the audible decay will be shorter. Meaning, if I bring this down to a second, like this, so it was 102, okay? The snare will actually sound gated because the decay will be inaudible about here. Does that make sense? So it's going to be, at this point, that's what you're going to hear. So have a listen. So it kind of goes... Because the problem is by the time, even though it's supposed to be this whole length here, you don't hear that because it gets to be inaudible about here. So it actually ends up sounding shorter than the actual decay. So measuring the decay is not a bad idea just to get a general feeling, but I would essentially make sure that you use a longer decay time. Look, I understand that when people discover that, it's like, hey, let's make a video. You know what I mean? I just discovered something. I get it. But remember that, you know, reverb decay, it's whoosh. And by the time it gets to like minus 18 dB or whatever, it's inaudible. So you understand what I'm saying. So you can use it as a quick tester, but don't use it as your Bible because it won't work. But if I get that back up to about 1.5 again, like where we had it, it will probably sound like it goes the length of the snare. Even that sounds shorter. It sounds like it's going joing. It's finishing audibly about here. Have a listen. So even though it's actually half a second longer than the time between the hits, it actually sounds like it's just decaying into it at about 3/4 of a second. So what you audibly hear in a dense drum mix is about 0.75 of a second, you know, because of all those dense things. So, you know, it's okay to use that kind of tool, but you're going to see that there's nothing better than your ears. It's getting back to the idea of like, you know, rationalizing through our eyes, but you've got to remember your ears don't see music, they hear it. I like that. And that's just a generic H verb. I did not touch anything. All I did was adjust the time. That's it. So I like it. I do like plugins. I'm sure you're the same way, that you just kind of open up and go, yeah, that works, you know, and don't have to do too much work to. So what I'm going to do is, for my own edification, is I am going to duplicate this. So what I'm doing is I'm duplicating everything about the snare verb. And you, again, there's quicker ways of doing it, and blah, 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 and I know that you can do this. But I'm doing it because I'm now going to change the input to 9 and 10. And then I'm going to take just the kick in, because there's a little bit too much bleed in the kick out, and send that. I could take the kick sub, but I'm not. I'm going to select 9 and 10. I'll rename this. And again, there's quicker ways of doing it, but I'm describing it to you. I feel like I'll stop saying that every time in a minute. But this is, you know, it'll save an email of somebody telling me that I could have done it better. It's okay. And I'm going to keep the same reverb, the same delay, the same length decay time, not delay. Delay, decay, it's only one letter difference, but it means a whole different thing. Now, you could argue, and you would be right, going, well, back in ye olden days of only working on consoles or mainly working on consoles, we used to have a limited amount of reverbs and delays. So you might have, it wasn't that long ago, and it was still the biggest mixers in the world might have like 4 or 5 reverbs. Wow, oh my gosh. And you'd look over to the console and there'd be like 6 auxiliaries. I remember working on a console in London, and it had 8. And I was like, oh my God, 8 auxiliaries. This is like the most amazing thing. And you had like 3, 4 reverbs, 2 delay lines, maybe a chorus or something going on. And you were like, wow, this is incredible. I've got 6 multi-effects. Now with the DAW, you've got about 400. You could, even on the most basic system, you could open up at least 3 times as many reverbs and delays that you would when you were mixing on a console. So why am I saying that? Well, because normally, and I understand because I'm using the same EQ settings on the reverb and the same decay time, you might be saying, well, Warren, why don't you just use 1? Yeah, I could. But if I want to adjust the reverb, it's so much easier to go to just kick reverb and turn it down. If I want to turn it up, it's less fiddly than going to the send and doing automation on that. So, obviously if it was a case of 150 tracks and my CPU was like dying, I get it. I would probably, think about how to amalgamate things together. But I think in this instance, we're good. If anybody wants to do a super chat and ask a question, I am happy. Would differing reverbs cause phasing issues between the kick and the snare and the bass drum? Not really. That's where you need to, especially with the low end, that's where you need to sculpt out the low end and don't be afraid to high pass. You will get phase issues from any low end if it builds up because you've got waveforms that are so massive. If they're slightly off, it's just going to sound like mush. But we've had this conversation many times about how to get good, loud, clear, clean low end. There's so much misinformation about that. So many videos talking about that. They've all been adjusted in the last 3 years. Everybody's backtrack, I haven't seen anybody take their videos down yet, but they're old school way of thinking. Well, not old school. Old school way of thinking was doing what I'm doing. There was just this period about 4 years ago where everybody was saying don't high pass, and I saw about 100 videos. But yeah. But we all know that to get good low end, you are correct. There can be phase issues if you had a ton of reverbs going on with tons of low end. That's why you high pass. That's why you clean up the low end. You don't want reverb just going on. And the problem is that a lot of people that were giving this bad advice were mixing on little speakers and they couldn't hear it. So to them, it was like, well, who cares? And then, of course, like we talked about 100 times before, I'll try to stop talking about it every time. I go to a mastering engineer and they're like pulling their hair out going, what's going on? We're getting all these indie records to mix and the low end is terrible. We can't hear any kick or bass. And it was like, that's why. Okay. Sounds great. I'm really happy with it. I'll just leave it as it is. I mean, I could probably just bring that low pass up a little bit. We don't need quite so much on the kick. I tend to, with the kick, just use it more mid-range. So I'm actually going to take out some of the low mids, which can be ugly. So now what I'm doing, I'll put it up here for Eric to see. So I've actually come up higher and lower on, so I'm shrinking it. So I've actually got less going on in the kick. It's just more of the mid-range, getting clock, 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 just adding to it. So yeah, if you want to ask any super chats, Eric, you will look on that. And also, we're going to do some questions. We're going to do, as you know, you can. Aaron. Aaron says thank you for all that you do for that. I really appreciate it. I'm humbled. And this helps because, as you know, we're giving away hundreds of courses at the moment to all the essential workers, and we do have to host them and pay fees and all of this stuff. So obviously, it costs us money to do it, but don't worry, I am not complaining, and Aaron is helping. So that is fantastic. Absolutely amazing. Now, nobody, sure as heck, should be complaining about like helping people for free at the moment because everybody is in this together. So, Aaron, thank you very much. At the very least, I think you may have bought Eric his lunch. As if we send out for lunch. Here we go. Eric's like, what? What headphones am I using? Oh, I'm using the Blues, the Lolas, who I have absolutely no association with. It's interesting. And so many of my Academy members, you know, we do Skype chats. We all use their same headphones. The thing is, they've got a bit of a low end boost, so they're actually kind of useful. They're not like as exaggerated as like a pair of Beats or something stupid like that, which is like low end up here. But they do have a good low end, and it is a little exaggerated, but I actually kind of like it because, like, going back to that idea of when you're mixing on like 5 or 6 inch speakers and you can't hear the low end, and people are telling you don't need a high pass, and you're like, well, yeah, I don't understand. Why does anybody high pass? I can't hear any low end issues. So actually, even though these are a little bit hyped, and they are hyped on the bottom end, I kind of like them. They make it easier for me to deal with the low end. And I'm used to listening in different environments. I mean, every live mix we do, I do on headphones. Every single one. Every one. I've never mixed live on a pair of speakers. So, and I hadn't even really thought about it because people were saying to me, can you mix on headphones? And then I thought about it one day. I was like, well, I always end up doing that when I'm doing live streams. So I suppose you can. That's really the answer. Okay. What else do I want to do? I'm pretty happy with this. Have a quick listen. Okay, now we've focused that kick you can hear in the mid-range. You hear that clock, clock, clock. It's kind of nice, but it's too loud. Let's bring it down. It's got some early reflections. What have we got here? Try it. The default was great. Pre-delay off. Great. Just does what I need to do. Okay. Let's do it on the toms because the toms are feeling like, hey, help. So I'm going to group our toms and create a little bussing of it. So we'll make that 11 and 12. Again, I will explain it really dumb as much as I can. So now I'm creating... Again, I'm doing this because it doesn't matter what DAW you're in, I want you to understand what I'm doing. So now what I've done is I've created a stereo bus or a stereo auxiliary, whatever you want to call it, stereo group, and that's going to be my toms. So I'm going to call it toms sub. So sub, bus, group, whatever you want to call it. And you probably noticed jokingly I'll do every name for the sake of it. Okay, so now I'll take that. Let's have a listen to a section here. Would help if I input the right there. Go to the end here because there's like a little fill. Okay, so this rack top can come up a little bit. Just a little chopped on that. I think we can increase the release time on the low end there on the rack tom. There you go, a little bit more. Okay. Now we'll grab an EQ. What should we grab? You know, like I said, we're going to do some different stuff. But why don't we do this? Why don't we grab? Let's grab the 9000J. There you go. Like I said, we're going to try and use as many plugins that we've been talking about recently. So 9000J. Wow, the EQ on this 9J is so freaking like, dum, does it straight away. I feel like I want to grab another EQ just directly on, what should we use? Just directly on the rack. Okay, so that isn't a rack tom hit at the end there. You hear that? So that's kind of a misfire. Hence why it sounds like a freaking cardboard box. Okay, so I brought the threshold up. Let's now go to where we know there is an actual hit. Okay, much better. Now we don't need quite so much bass boost. Much, much better. Great. Okay, there you go. Adjusting as we go. Okay. What I like about clip gain in Pro Tools, and I'm not sure if your DAW has it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do some very, very basic stuff like this. Not afraid to do these kind of things. I talk about this all the time. It's when I'm mixing, I do a lot of editing, and it takes seconds to solve a problem with an edit. Now listen. I'd rather just edit it like that. You know, rather than spend ages going, oh, the thing is, blah, 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 blah. See, that's not there. Okay. It's just, if the hit isn't working, the hit isn't working. Boost it. It took a couple of seconds. Nothing going on there. Okay, there's one there. I don't have a problem with doing this. You know, to me, it's the same conversation we have to talk about de-essing. Kevin's saying he manually cleans tom-toms. I do too. I would rather do this, and I'm talking about it, but literally the song would take 5 minutes to do this and just bring up hits and things like that. Everybody worth their salt will do this. Because the reality is that you want this to work. You're not trying to prove a point. There's no like competition like, oh, well, you know, I found the perfect de-esser, for instance. We talk about this a lot, but if you've got like 12 different de-essers and you're trying to find the right one, how about just turning down the S's, you know? Great, there it is. And if I find anything else that I've missed, I'll add it in later. Okay, I could spend 5 minutes just going through it, but it will bore you all to tears. Okay, so now we've got our tom sub going. Much better. Okay, so now we've got good sounding toms. We're happy with it. And then now let's take, and again, I'm going to do this like really methodically. I'm creating a stereo, auxiliary, sub, group, whatever you want to call it. And basically stereo aux, and I'm going to call it toms, and you probably guessed what I'm going to call it, reverb. And why don't I, just for the sake of keeping this feeling like the same thing, copy down that. I'm doing it a different way. Last time I duplicated it. Now I'm copying it down. Again, I like to show all the different ways of doing it, as opposed to being like, here's the, you know what I mean? So what we're doing is we're showing like there's another way of doing it. So I now just drag them down. If you want to do that, you can duplicate and rename. If you're in your own DAW, you can set up automatic ways of doing this. There's going to be quick keys for you to do these kind of things. And that exists in Pro Tools. It exists, I know, in Reaper. It exists in pretty much any DAW. But I'm doing it the slow, methodical way to show you what I'm doing. Okay, so now we're going to create a bus, 15 and 16. And, oh, I already created 13, 14. So why did I do that, Warren? Because I was talking too much. All right, 13, 14. And let's just have a listen to what that's doing. If I hit Option on it in Pro Tools, it turns it up to 0. I'm really happy with that. Okay, let's throw in the bass, which has no EQ, no compression, nothing done to it. We have 389 people watching. Can you all hit the like button? That would be absolutely amazing. And share. So we're going to give away a year's membership to the Academy. In fact, we're going to do 3 over the next hour or so. So stick around. So 3 memberships to Produce Like a Pro Academy. There's some of you that are already members. If you're already a member, we will extend your membership by another year for free. And I want to ask a question. So what I'd like to know, for anybody watching, to get a free 1-year membership to the Academy, I'd like to know, what is your go-to favorite plugin? We've already opened up a couple. We're going to have some more fun new ones. What is your favorite go-to plugin? There is no right or wrong answer. There's no wrong answer, I should say. They're right to you. What is your one that you use every time? It doesn't even have to be particularly like flashy. It might just be stock reverb, stock, So we're going to give out 3 memberships. Please hit the like button. 400 plus people watching. Please hit that like button and let us know what is your number one go-to, use it more than anything else plugin. And if you're an Academy member, you can also get a free course. You could ask us and say if you won, because you're already a member. Especially, and if you're a lifetime member, which there's many people watching, if you're a lifetime member, you can win a free course. Any course. And there's some really long, expensive ones. Thanks, says the Sheps Omnichannel. So let's hear this drum sound, this sort of big aggressive drum sound now in the whole track. So a lot of SSL channels. Whose SSL channel do you like? Is it SSL's one? Is it Brainworks? Is it Waves? Let us know. I'd love to know. FabFilter Pro Q, Waves J37, Dyne3, UAD 1176. Eric will be choosing completely and utterly at random, by the way. Waves HCOM, and we will do 3 of these. SSL E channel. Who's Jess? Who's his E channel? And please don't forget to hit the like button as well, by the way, and share if you can. Waves MV2, I second that one. Pool Plate, REQ Reaper. Can't really say, but I'd love to get the course, so I answered, says Adrian. Hey, that's okay. If it's 3 different plugins, let us know. Or if it's like 5 different plugins, let us know. If it's like, yeah, Little Plate, says Mario. Nice one. PreSonus, Fat Channel. Vocal Rider, UAD. Any particular one, Renee? Any particular UAD plugin? Waves 1176. Seems like my feed was behind, so I wonder what happened. Nobody's won yet, so you can still enter. Anita, Renaissance Compressor, SSL 4000. Lots of great ones. Okay, I'm going to have a quick listen. You can say Ozone 9. You can say whatever you like. Okay. All right, so I like what we're going. I think the drums sound aggressive now. Somebody commented at the front the sound like the drummer was playing softer. I think now we make him sound like he's hitting it. Have a listen. Hey, Thomas Pearson wrote one, and he said REQ Reaper, a Reaper plugin. Okay, so let's listen to the bass in solo, just for the schnizzle of it. Thank you, Obsidian. Yes, please hit that thumbs up. And there's going to be 2 more chances to win. And, of course, the last one will be a mega prize, because it always is. The last one will be the mega prize. So stick around to the end. Okay, so I am going to create a bus for the bass. And it's just going to be mono, so I'm taking an output. Whoops. For those of you in Pro Tools, you probably know how to group the 2 together, the outputs. It is Shift Option and the 2 highlighted tracks. But just wanted to let you know, and also, again, we're doing it methodically for those of you that don't use Pro Tools, and I would be alienating you by only using my shortcuts. So bass, sub, here we go. So now we've got a sub, a bus, an auxiliary, whatever you want to call it, a group of those 2 inputs. Not going to do anything clever yet. Going to listen to the DI in solo. Now we'll listen to the Sans amp. We didn't have an amp on this. So the Sans amp's distorted, it's got some low end, but obviously it's distorted. That's what the Sans amp does. So we're going to use that for our... and I am going to go to an REQ here because it's dumb and easy like I am. No, I'm not easy, but I'm dumb. And we're going to wipe off, I don't know, couple of hundred here. It's about 200 here. So I'm also going to go in about 7, 8, 1K here-ish and add some mid-range. And then a little bit above that, going to get some bit of buzz. So on the on EQ2 here, you're around about 3.5K. See what it's adding? You hear me turn it on and off. It's adding a little bit of grit. If you go to 5 and I turn that on and off, you'll see it's adding that solidity, that don don don. Which makes it sound like a Fender bass. Okay, so now I'm going to go to the DI, and I could do it the other way around. It probably would have just been just as quick to go the other way around. And all I need is a 2-band EQ because I'm only going to do 2 things with this. So we'll go and grab an REQ2. And I'm going to go down on the high pass. Sorry, on the high pass to, I don't know. Subtly, you see I went to the narrowest Q I could. So it's gentle, and I'm sloping it around about 40 or 50, maybe a little bit lower. And now I'm going to go to here and high pass it. Sorry, low pass it. Warren, low pass it. Blend the 2 together. Hear them without any EQ. Oh, Kevin, how many times have I explained this? I do this to demonstrate. I show everybody in solo because if I don't do it in solo, if you're like new or something like that, you won't hear the choices as much. I can move quickly in solo or with the track because I have the benefit of doing this a lot. You know what I mean? I've been very, very blessed to have been mixing and making music for most of my life. Definitely my adult life, my adult life. Don't remember which is English or American anymore. My adult life, I've been doing this. Adult life? God, I've been here too long. I don't remember. So it's easier to always show stuff in solo when you're teaching, but I could do this, do this quite quickly and easily, but then I wouldn't be able to explain and show things in detail. And I know that's a lot of discussion. People are, you shouldn't be working in solo. Well, actually, everybody I've ever been in a room with the exception of Bob Clearmountain, goes into solo and EQs things. Bob Clearmountain seems to be the guy that makes it impossible for the rest of us. But I've been in a room with every major mixer and they go into solo. 411 people watching. Thank you ever so much. 13. Hit the like button. We're going to do another giveaway in about 15 minutes. Hopefully Eric is preparing a joke because I do need to use the bathroom at some point today. And I would love to hear one of Eric's wonderful jokes. Now, I want to do something a little different here, which I don't normally do. I'm going to grab the RVox because it has this tendency to thicken up the vocal. And I want to hear what it does on a, you guessed it, bass guitar. Let's have a listen. Yes! That's the RVox, not the R bass, the RVox. So it's a little uneven on the low end still, just a little bit. So a little uneven. So let's grab the R bass. Now, what I do before that is I'll grab a generic EQ, and I mean this in a loving way because my generic EQs are the REQ. That's what I use every day. Because it's just dumb and easy to use for a guy like me. What's interesting is they've added the frequency features, which they never had before. And that makes it even easier to show everybody, you know what I mean? So why am I doing this? Well, I am controlling the low end before I boost. I don't want to put a flat in and then use like R bass, because what will happen is all the low lows will get boosted as well. So if I grab the R bass as well, like wow, where's my R bass? There it is. Okay. So the reason why I shape it again is I high pass going into the R bass because the R bass is going to give me, yes, it's centering around about 80, but it's also going to give me some low lows I don't want. It's also going to give me maybe some extra harmonics that I do want. However, I want to control what I'm boosting. So I will high pass into it. It will bring up 40 and 60, but it won't bring it up as exaggerated. Now you could argue, then why don't you just high pass afterwards? I might, but I don't high pass afterwards to solve a problem I've caused. You know what I mean? If I control it, I'm not causing extra issues. It's a little bit like EQing before the reverb. It's not that I want to get rid of all of the low end of a reverb or all of the high end of the reverb. I just want to control it so it's not exaggerated. Because I find that if I EQ only after a reverb, it sounds very quote unquote EQ'd. What I'm doing is I'm controlling the sound source going into an R bass, controlling a sound source going into a reverb. Hopefully that all makes perfect sense. Now it's very, very gritty sounding at the moment, extremely gritty. I'm leaving it like that because my guess is throw in some guitars and all of that's going to go. there's no shortage of low end, and that bite starts to disappear into the guitars and make those guitars sound a little thicker. See you later, Chaz. Now, it's interesting on those toms, I was noticing some tom hits with the bass was in. We'll go into solo to illustrate. I'm actually going to put a bass boost, an R bass, on the. I wonder if it goes under other. Yeah, it's under other. I'm pulling this EQ down from the rack. Is that the first time ever? I'm not sure what you mean. Sorry, I missed the question there. And please feel free to enter the super chat, and we will stop and answer any questions in the super chat. That's why it's there. I always mix from the artist, I always mix from an audience perspective. Are we getting some dropping out because we've got the whole world is online at the moment?
Yeah, but we got it back.
Eric says it's back.
So you're going to have to refresh now. That's all.
Yes, everybody, sorry. The whole world. But you're on me, so they're going to see me looking down. So can you go back to the... Can you go back to the...
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. I'm not sure why you did that.
Well, because I had to restart everything.
You had to restart?
Yeah.
Oh, so you lost it there.
Yeah, like our connection to Wi-Fi, our connection to the internet, it just cut off. So I had to restart, but we're back.
Okay, apparently we're big, bad, and back. Okay, so Eric's going to go and tell a joke, and I'm going to use the bathroom. Yeah, it was too much low end on the kick. It's too much metal. Mike says he survived the dropout. We're back. Hi, Diana. The whole world is online. So are you going to come, Eric?
Yep, on the way.
Do you drums from bass? Do you mix mostly from drums above bass? I'm not sure. The image is blurred. It may be. God bless the internet. Eric will be here to tell you a joke.
If the image is blurred, it's probably because you refreshed the page, so now it came back at, a low quality. Like right here, it's blurred and it's at 144p, so it's like at minimum. So you don't have to refresh again. Just go to the bottom of the video player and click the settings and go to quality and boost it up. But yeah, what's up, everyone? The world of the Erics. Yeah, sorry about that dropout, guys. It happens, and it's been happening a lot more lately just because everyone is on the internet, so it does happen, and it's scary. It's terrifying when it happens. When I'm on my end and it says, "Hey, you cut off from the internet," I'm just kind of like, because that can either go really badly and then we lose you guys completely, or I can just restart and reconnect as fast as I can, and hopefully it lets us connect again. Sometimes YouTube won't let us connect again, and that will be the end of that. Martin says we were talking about babies. Some of the side chats are pretty funny. I don't really have a joke. I mean, I've gone through all my jokes. I know there's a lot of new people here. I could go through all my jokes again because I've been going through them for, I guess, a year and a half. I know Tom C doesn't want me to get back to them. But, I mean, I suppose Warren did promise I would do a joke, and you guys egged me on. It's going to be an old one, though. Yes, I was at NAMM. I follow Warren around everywhere he goes. I have to be right behind him with the camera, ready to film at any time. So I'm pretty sure we met. The dropped out video was my joke. Is there still ramen where I'm at? Ramen, like the good food ramen? Yeah. There's definitely ramen. Tons of places that have ramen. I don't have anywhere to compare it to because I've only ever had Los Angeles ramen. So it's good, but I'm sure if I go someplace that has legit ramen, then it might be a whole another world right there. Ooh, Robert has a joke. Type it out, Robert, please. Oh, I'm sure everyone, if anyone that goes to NAMM, I'm pretty sure you guys have passed us up many times because we run everywhere from one end to the other. What's my favorite album? It definitely changes a lot, but right now I'm listening to an artist called Porter Robinson a lot. I would definitely say is one of my favorite artists. It's EDM world, but he's very melodic, so I would definitely go with his album. He only has one album. He's coming out with the second one, but it's amazing. I love it. But yeah, I didn't tell a joke. I don't have any jokes. I searched to the end of the internet, and then it got to really dark jokes that I will not say on the internet. So yeah.
Eric doesn't have any jokes, but then there is no Eric without the jokes. Who is he? We don't know. But you all got to admire his hair. The Summer NAMM, no. So what happened with Summer NAMM is I spoke to some NAMM people. They were unfortunately put in this position where, how can I phrase it? Where they had a time limit on whether to cancel or not. I think most people don't want to cancel July and August events until June. They want to have enough time to assess the situation. Like, we're not canceling our masterclass in July in Nashville. Even if I'm wearing a freaking face mask and a pair of gloves, there's no real reason to cancel it. You know what I mean? But the difference is like poor old Summer NAMM would have lost their deposit from the Nashville Convention Center. So they had no choice. It was either like take the risk and lose your deposit, or, and that's just unfortunate, but that's why a lot of events seem to get cancelled a little too easily. And you're like, well, what happens if we're able to travel by then? You know what I mean? So I'm going to make decisions like that not until, June, which I think is a lot more, because, it just makes a lot more sense. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go to the vocal before we add anything else. Because we haven't done any. I'm not going to go to the vocal last. That would be really ineffective. You know what I mean? I want to bring in the vocal earlier.
This is a walk away from all the dirty little games you play. Yeah, I heard your sorries, but I saw no change. I gave you love, you gave me pain. Oh yeah, lit me up like a cigarette, and you burned me down, and now there's nothing left. You were the one who put a spark to this. You were the gasoline, you were the catalyst.
Okay, so obviously the Arvox is a great plugin, but it does have a tendency to exaggerate lows and low mids. And that's what he has in abundance in his voice. So I've got a choice here. I think what I'm going to do is first I'm going to adjust this mic. What I'm going to do is take that off, and I'm going to go into solo so you can hear just the vocal on its own.
This is a walk away from all the dirty little games.
Mark Becker, thank you very much, and thank you ever so much for helping out. You're paying towards the costs of associated with that, so thank you, Mark. I've said this a lot. The idea came from the Academy. For those of you that want to understand why we're giving away free courses to essential workers, it came from the Academy. Do you remember? We had somebody who was working at the NHS about a month ago reach out and say, hey, could you let me know, because I'm working long hours. I could go into the Academy and read it out. And I'm sorry if I can't remember the name of the person, but they were working for the NHS, and they said they were working long hours, and they were coming back, and they wanted something to unwind. And, they wanted a way to unwind and, do some work on some tracks. So they said, where can I download some courses to learn? This was inside of our Academy group. And people were suggesting, check out Warren's course on this, or we have a course with Reed Shipham, which is amazing. Somebody had suggested that. And I just responded, hey, just ask us for what you need. If that's really what's happening with some essential workers inside of our Academy, and they're asking for courses to unwind and do, I just said, just ask us for what you need. I know everybody in here would 100% be supportive of giving you any free course that you want, because that's why we're all in it. And of course, everybody was like, of course, nobody's going to take that personally. Any essential worker. So that's where the idea came from. It came from our community, being supportive of it. So thank you, everybody in our community. That helps. Eric said he didn't have any appropriate jokes. I vote to hear inappropriate jokes. I'm wondering how you're liking the UAD stuff at Harmony. Well, we moved the whole UAD system here, so we're going to start showing it very, very soon. We just got set up for Luna. We haven't yet delved into it properly. We wanted to be part of the launch of it, and they did ask us, but we didn't get a chance to get into it. So thank you, Mark. Thank you, everybody who is supporting here. What do I think of the name Talia? I did answer. I said it was a beautiful name. Sorry, Sean, didn't you see it? Yeah. I think it's absolutely beautiful name. And congratulations on your baby girl coming in August 2020. Congratulations. That's absolutely amazing. So beautiful. So that clapping's really doing a lot. I'm not sure what you mean. Sorry. But thank you, everybody who is being so supportive of us all here. That's really, really helped. So we're listening to the vocal in solo.
This is a walk away from all the dirty little games you play. Yeah, I heard your sorries, but I saw no change.
So he has a lot of like 700-ish going on in his voice. We put the Arvox on.
This is a walk away from all the dirty little games you play. Yeah, I heard.
It's actually helping. It's not exaggerating it as much as I thought. Have a listen before and afterwards. Hi, Bethel Baptist Church family. How are you?
This is a walk away from all the dirty little.
Oh yeah, sorry, Sean. I probably answered with that, but it's a beautiful name. I'm assuming I would say Talia, but it may be Talia. But beautiful name.
This is a walk away from all the dirty little games you play. Yeah, I heard your sorries, but I saw no.
It's actually interesting. It seems to be hyping some of those high mids. Nice.
This is a walk away from all the dirty little games you play. Yeah, I heard you.
Great. I can leave it on. I can leave it on. I can leave it off. But now what we're going to do is we're going to go and grab the Oak Sound, the Soothe 2. Default setting, not doing anything. Just press play, see what happens.
This is a walk away from all the dirty little games you play. Yeah, I heard your sorries, but I saw no change.
Now, what it's doing, and I had somebody talk about, it's a couple of people on the Soothe 2 video. Everybody loves the Soothe 2, thought it was fantastic. I learned about it from, obviously, the very, very great, incredibly talented Mr. Eric Valentine. So I learned about it from him. And lots of people bought after watching that video. And eventually I got my schnizzle together, and it's my fault. Eventually, Oak Sound, thank you. But I eventually got hold of them and said, hey, can we hear the plugin? Can I use it and show it to our audience? And I hear great things. And my fault for being a day late and a dollar short. But what it's doing, a lot of people mention this, they're like, oh, it gets darker. Yes, it does, because it takes away exaggerated high frequencies. If I don't do anything and just leave it on default and do this. So what I'm going to do is I've got it on a default setting. Now I'm going to grab like an REQ. And I'm just going to, even without hearing, boost some high end here, because this is what it's about. Ray Berger, thank you. Please press the like button. Thank you, Ray. Thank you for the team and great stuff and the work for the community. I really appreciate it. So now what I've done is something really stupidly generic. I am using my eyes. There's a reason why I'm doing this. I'm doing this as a dumb demonstration. So I'm boosting all the highs here. Let's go and make that wide. Okay. And have a listen. So I haven't listened because this could prove me completely wrong. Press play.
This is a walk away from all the dirty little games you play.
Did I just prove a point there, or did I just prove a point? It's now brighter, but nothing's going. So why does the Soothe 2 make it sound a little duller? It makes it sound a little bit duller because it takes away aggressive frequencies, allowing you to then open up the high end on the vocal and make it feel more even. Listen.
This is a walk away from all the dirty little games.
Because even that dirty would have taken my head off. So if I bypass the Soothe 2, and now listen.
This is a...
I can't even get through a second. I want the vocal to be brighter, but I can't boost it because it's uneven. But once again, I'll play it for like 4 seconds. 4 seconds of high-end boost that you would normally apply on a vocal to make it cut in a mix without Soothe 2.
This is a walk away from all the dirty little games you play.
Dirty or Soothe 2.
This is a walk away from all the dirty little games.
It's genius. Does great work. Now I'm just going to go here, go to 1, apply some high passing, gently make the slope a little gentler, bring it up to about here, drop it into the mix.
This is a walk away from all the dirty little games you play. Yeah, I heard your sorries, but I saw no change. I gave you love, you gave me hate. Oh, yeah, lit me up like a cigarette.
great. I'm using 2 Varvoxes.
This is a walk away from all the dirty little games you play. Yeah, I heard your sorries, but I saw no change. I gave you love, you gave me.
Would I use Soothe 2 instead of a de-esser? Yep.
This is a walk away from all the dirty little games you play.
Haim is saying they're really bad with de-essers, etc. Can't get it right. Well, I think the Soothe 2 might get it right for you.
This is a walk away from all the dirty little games you play. Yeah, I heard you.
The Arvox is like a super good sounding but aggressive, it's pretty aggressive vocal comp. I love it.
This is a walk away from all the dirty little games you play. Yeah, I heard your sorries, but I saw no change.
Now I have the H3000s here for those of you on the multitrack. So I'm going to make a group and we call it H3000.
This is a walk away from all the dirty little games you play. Yeah, I heard your sorries, but
So what that is that is a delay on the left and a delay on the right at different times and different pitches. Actually, the delays are the same time, sorry, but the pitch is slightly different on each one. It pushes the vocal really nicely forward. It's pretty fantastic. Let's do another giveaway. So this is, we've got 2 more giveaways coming up. This is the first of the last 2. First of all, everybody that's watching, thank you, all of you. You are amazing. Please hit the like button. So if you could hit like, that would be amazing. Please share. There's 382 people. I'd like to see at least 382 likes. That would be absolutely fantastic. So that's the first thing to do. Hit the like button, share. Second one is a question. Last question I asked, what was your favorite plugin? Let's find out a little bit more about you. What DAW are you using? And if you don't use a DAW and you're recording on tape, totally cool. If you're recording on a 4-track cassette, if you're recording into your iPhone, your Android, whatever, how do you record? What is your medium? Are you using Pro Tools, Reaper, Cubase, Logic, FL Studio, Ableton, Digital Performer, Reason? I'm probably forgetting a whole bunch. What are you using to record? Let us know. What is your DAW? You will win a 1-year membership to the Academy. If you're already a member, you will win a 1-year extension. If you are already a lifetime member, you will win any course that you like, and there's some really expensive ones over at ProMix Academy. And please hit the like button. So let us know. Please hit that like button, and please let us know what is your DAW or your medium to record of choice. And Eric will choose at random. It's going fast, Eric. Can you keep up? His hair's exploding. His hair is exploding. He can't take it. And so the Echoplex here, for those, is a tape delay that's distorted.
this is a walk away from all the dirty little games you play. Yeah, I heard your sorries, but I saw no change. I gave you love, you gave me pain. Oh, yeah, lit me up like a cigarette, and you burned me down, and now there's nothing left. You were the one who put a spark to this. You were the gasoline, you were the catalyst.
Fantastic. Got to be honest, the Soothe is doing great things. Mix that in with an Arvox and an REQ, I'm doing less work than I normally do. Now, with the organ, which is in solo, for those of you, again, I'll explain like I did at the very beginning. The reason why we listen in solo is for teaching purposes. I don't always work in solo. I usually combine solo with also listening in the track, which of course we will do as well. But we do this to really help. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull it about 110-ish, start rolling off. So that I'm not getting rid of all the low end. I'm just sculpting it a bit so that the bass and drums can really shine. So let's put in the bass with the organ and put in the drums. like it. It's absolutely fantastic. Really, really happy. So what I'm going to do is part of me was like, do I want to distort that organ more? I mean, it was recorded with a pair of 57s on the top. And I can't remember if I blended in a 421 on the bottom. Oh dear. Okay, so I love where this is going. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of reverberation on it. There is a little bit just naturally because this Hammond Leslie cabinet was sitting in the middle of a room with a pair of 57s on it, and it was being really crushed. This is the rather wonderful Zac Ray. That's Z-A-C-R-A-E, Zac Ray. So if I now go and grab a reverb like this and come down to like here, like 20-something%. Hear it in solo. This is saying to crunch it up. I'm not sure. You might be right. The only thing about the verb is it's losing some of that beautiful kind of movement. If I, and obviously there's a volume difference, but if you listen here. It's a tough one. That's really nice. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, for those of you that are not in Pro Tools, so I feel like I've got to explain this every time just to stop the stop the inevitable messages and emails that I always get. But I'm doing this really slow to demonstrate. So what I've done is I've created a stereo auxiliary, a stereo bus, and I'm going to pull the reverb down onto that. I'm also going to grab the same EQ and copy it down. Oops, because I don't need to like have a overwhelming amount of low end build up on that organ. So I'm actually going to make it a little higher. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a send from the organ and we'll make it 1718. I can just hit Option on Pro Tools if you're in Pro Tools and it will go to 0. Make the input come in here on 1718. And then I'm enjoying that. So why did I do that? Because I felt like even with the mix control on 20, even though I had the mix control on 20%, it still was messing with the way I was hearing that direct signal. I don't want to do that. See that lovely moving, that wah, wah, you know what I mean? Just that kind of little blend there. It's really beautiful. Wow, 399 people. Who won, Eric? What did they win?
Keith G won.
Keith G. Hey, Keith G. Congratulations. And what did they use?
Pro Tools.
Oh, you're going to get favoritism for picking Pro Tools there. I think that was completely accidental. I did ask him to do it at random.
It is totally random. Absolutely.
I don't think Eric could do anything but at random. Oh, put him ching. Here we go. If you stick around for another like 20 minutes or so, we will not only give away a 1 year, we'll give away a 1 year membership, and we'll also give away any course that you want from ProMix Academy. So you're going to get a downloadable course as well as a membership, and you can choose any course. And of course, the new course that's out is the rather wonderful Clay Blair re-recording the Beatles, which is going to be at a special price for another day. Eric, would you put that in the chat? This is an amazing course, and it's really super cheap at the moment, and it's out specifically because I got asked about it 100 times. Clay's video does really well. Organically, it gets a few thousand views a week, every week, because so many people want to understand how the Beatles recorded. And so he shows using the real mics, but he also shows mixing with the Abbey Road plugins, so you can get that as well, and you can learn how to do it. What happened to Eric's mic? I don't know. Did you not press your mic?
I do have it.
You just forgot to use it? Hey, Eric, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am good. How is your hair, Eric? Is there? Can we see you?
I don't have that set up.
He didn't set up the camera for the Eric's hair camera. We just need like a camera just on the hair. You know that the Academy members will know that Eric is Teen Wolf inside of the Academy. He has a Teen Wolf photo. Did Eric cover his eyes and point to the answer? Pretty much. Yep. Trev has got the Beatles course. My mic is smashed, sorry, haha, says Eric. Re-recording the Beatles, yeah. It's really a fantastic course. Tom C, maybe Warren took it away, his microphone. No, I didn't. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why he's doing that. Okay, so. And we're going to finish this mix next week inside of the Academy. So if you haven't joined already, you can either join and pay and be a member, or you can win a membership in a few minutes, or you can be on the 30-day free trial, which Eric will put up now. So either way, you'll get to hear me finish the mix next week. That's because that's what we do in the Academy. Going to throw in the guitars. Even though the guitars aren't EQ'd or compressed, I'm pretty happy where they are.
Boulevard. This is a walk away from all the dirty little games you play. Yeah, I heard your sorries, but I saw no change. I gave you.
Hayne wants to know about the Academy. So the Academy is basically full of a lot of incredible people. We have a huge membership, it's like 3,200 members. Not that everybody is like super active and talking all the time, but we have a few hundred members that are like super communicative, and probably a lot of them are here. Of the 400 people watching, there's probably 300 members here. And what is great about it is you get pretty much this. You get a lot of people listening to your mixes, commenting, helping each other out. We've been trying to do 2 videos a week where I do the live mixing. This would normally be an Academy-only video. Last week it was an Academy-only video, but here we're opening up to show everybody what we do. And we take questions and we talk about stuff, and we really have a great time. After the stream, Chernobyl, yeah, I'm going to call him. So Chernobyl Studios has an amazing course that we're going to host. So it's a really fantastic opportunity to help people out. And it's like everybody here has has the ability to help each other. They all have their own unique experience. It's not run by experts who think they know everything. It's run by all of us that care about helping each other. And if you want to go to a place where you can shout and scream and tell everybody that they're wrong and you suck, bruh, and all that stuff, there's plenty of other academies that do that, and there's lots of other forums where everybody hates on each other and stuff. We don't have any of that, and if we do, because it's a paid thing, it's low paid compared with other places. It's not like incredibly expensive, but the point is like it's a welcoming place. And if somebody wants to go on a rampage and tell everybody they're wrong, which has happened twice out of 3,249 members, we just refund them their money right from scratch. They've been in a year and they suddenly go psychotic. Well, I'll give them back the whole year's money. It's like, it's such a safe place, and that's what it's all about. And we really try to encourage it and help people grow, because there's too much negativity in this world. There's a lot of, we just had to kick somebody out there like, dude, bro, this vocal sucks. It's like, okay, that's fine. You know what I mean? Then go somewhere else. This is a really, really, it's a safe place. The way I talk about it a lot is like when I was a kid at school, I'm super like outgoing now, aren't I? I'm like this guy. It's like, yeah, Well, you know what? I wasn't that. When I was at school, I was like, I weighed about 8 pounds. I was like super, super skinny, like really, really skinny. I'm sort of relatively thin now, but when I was at school, I was like knobbly knees, 6 foot by the time I was 15. So I was like rail, or maybe even 14. I was like rail thin, skinny, tall, lanky, I suppose is the British term, and very, very shy. Listened to music, was only cared about music and art, and that was it. It was all like, one friend, 2 friends. I'm John Hill, if he's watching. John became a great friend. And, just was like super shy. And why am I talking about this? Well, this is what I wanted. I wanted to create an area where people like me could get together. Like, it doesn't matter what size, shape, ethnicity, gender, religious belief, nothing. We don't have any of those hang-ups. We have a lot of people that are faith-based that are really, really supportive and great, great people, but we don't make it about that. I have my faith and it's important to me. And if anybody wants to know, they can ask me privately, but we make it a welcoming community of people that help each other. And we all are incredibly supportive. And that is the bottom line. If somebody is telling somebody else off, it's just not the right place to be. If you know best, then you know what? You can go on to the other forum and the other place and be that. It's just not, like Sheila's saying, geeks rule. I was a total geek at school, a geek / nerd / everything. And I mean, like even the sports I love cricket, I love field hockey, and I love rugby. And of course, I like some football as well, some soccer as well. But, I was just like a little geeky, nerdy, kind of kid. And so what I wanted to do was create an environment with a whole bunch of people. Like Chris is saying, Chris Ibbotson, I know I can post a bad mix, and by the end of the day, with the help of the communities, I'm improved and it's invaluable. That's why we have the Produce Like a Pro community. And we have, don't get me wrong, we have 6'5" freaking Adonises in there, guys that probably when it comes to sports, probably killed it and may have been the most popular person in school. That's the point. There is no requirement. There is no sense of elitism or superiority. We have a lot of professionals in there. A lot of professionals, and everybody feels safe and helps each other. And the standard is insanely good. And you can come in knowing nothing and come out being absolutely incredible. So, and we're putting together more course stuff and more things about building your business. We do Q&As on business stuff. It's really a rather wonderful place. So please come in and join us. My third zombie joke. Join us. Okay. Going to have a listen. I'm going to listen a little bit more, and then we're going to do our last giveaway. So stick around for last giveaway. If you haven't already hit the like button, please do. Thank you, everybody that's watching. And let's give it a listen.
It was last call. It wasn't you, it was the alcohol. We talked all night, but you were so far gone. Another night on Sunset Boulevard. This is a walk away from all the dirty little games you play. Yeah, I heard your sorries, but I saw no change. I gave you love, you gave me pain. Oh yeah, lit me up like a cigarette, and you burned me down. but you burned me down and now there's nothing left. You were the one who put a spark to this. You were the gasoline, you were the catalyst. Girl, light me up like a cigarette. Burn me down, there's nothing left.
Lordy, lordy. Oh, that's fantastic. I loved how simple this is now. It's really coming together nicely. It's interesting. We sort of finished off last week at a place where it sounded like a good beginning of a rough. Now it sounds like a rough plus. Like it's the beginning. This is what I would call an EOD, and that's courtesy of amazing people like Mark Endert. EOD. I think Michael Brow calls it an EOD. I can't remember. Do you, Michael? Anyway, what that means is end of day. So this would be like end of my first day of mixing, because we've done like 4 hours of live streaming on this, but we probably, with me waffling on and exchanges and stuff, probably done about an hour and a half or 2 hours of actual mixing from scratch. And, you know, with breaks, yeah, maybe it's 3 or 4 hours. And this is like an EOD. This is somewhere I would leave off, come back tomorrow with fresh ears and start doing some more rides, putting in some vocal effects. I haven't done anything on the guitars yet. It's absolutely amazing. Oh, thank you, G. Baxter. Thank you, everybody who's being so positive about their experience in the Academy. This is really wonderful. So this is going to be our last giveaway. Wow, we've been on for over 2 hours. This is amazing, or 2 hours now. So there's 364 people watching still. That's amazing. Please hit the like button if you haven't already liked. You're new to the liking experience. That's really rather wonderful. Sheila's saying like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate it, because when you hit the like, it tells YouTube, hey, this is a cool place to be, you know. So that would be really great. Thank you ever so much. So our last question of the day, and this is to win a 1-year membership to the Academy. Any particular ProMix course that you want, any of them. If you're already a member of the Academy, you'll get an extra year. If you're a lifetime member, you can now get 2 ProMix Academy courses. You remember that? If they're already a member and they've got lifetime, you can get 2. And Delvin says he likes waffles. I like waffles too. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, everybody that's liking and sharing. This means a lot. So this is to win Academy membership, ProMix Academy courses. And if you're already a member, you get 2 ProMix Academy courses. If you're a lifetime member, if you're a regular member, you're going to get an extra year for free and a course. I don't know. Keep going. We'll throw in as much as you like. Oh, Victor, you're very generous by saying the rough sounded better than the final. Well, you can download these multitracks, and then remember, you can join for 30 days for free, so you can download the multitracks and work on them, then post them in the Academy, and people will critique them for you. So my last question is, we found out what DAW you use. We've found out what your favorite plugin is. Why don't we ask this? Do you have an interface? If you don't have an interface, you can say, no, I don't have an interface. That enters you. If you do have an interface, what interface do you have? And that can also be if you're using a digital recorder. What digital recorder do you have? So let us know. So I'm going to copy down these EQ settings and everything to the double, which is actually a harmony here. I'm going to do some harmony work, and in the meantime, over the next 5 minutes, please hit the thumbs up. I appreciate it. ProMix Academy, Mr. Dan. That is Eric will post a link now to the re-recording the Beatles, or if you go underneath, is it not underneath the video? No, it's not. That's unusual. Okay, so. Underneath the video, there'll be the re-recording the Beatles. So let us know. RME, Tascam, Audient, Alesis, Apollo, RME. Wow, this is fantastic. Oh, lots of audience. We like them. Motus, some RMEs. OSSL2, I haven't tried it yet. 1, 2, UAD Apollo. We have one of those. Audient, more Audient. Lynx, Aurora, fantastic. The Alesis HD24. Wow, I remember those. Those were great. X32 Compact, Behringers, more Alesis. Joe says ID44. Hey, Joe. More Auroras, a Roland Duo. No interface, but has the at least this works. This is great. All right, so I'm going to throw in this harmony. Let's have a listen. Harmony number 1.
Lit me up like a cigarette, and you burned me down, and now there's nothing left. You were the one who put a spark to this.
So it goes in and out of a harmony and a double.
Lit me up like a cigarette, and you burned me down, and now there's nothing left. You were the one who put a spark to this. You were the gasoline. You were the.
Okay, so what happens is it's a harmony in the verses and then a doubled harmony in the chorus. So let's do this. Let's go and pan them during. So the first thing we do is we're going to pan left and right during the choruses. But I'm not going to go hard left and right, so just going to pan at either side of the vocal about 50%.
Lit me up like a cigarette, and you burned me down, and now there's nothing left.
Great. So that works really well. So I haven't done any EQ or compression yet. I'm not going to get to that till I know how I want it to sound. So let's go 50-50 on that too.
Lit me up like a cigarette, and you burned me down, and now there's nothing left.
Audient ID22, PreSonus, Zoom. No interface HD24, says Tim. I had to close my eyes. What was that? Fireface. Show me the money, says Sean. Let's have a listen here. So now we got the harmony in the verse.
Wanted your tears to flow. Sometimes you need more than a handle. I need a new so a little time to roam. Let it find out what it's looking for. I didn't know you'd come and go. You once lit me up like a cigarette, and you burned me down, and now there's nothing left. You were the one who put a spark to this. You were the gasoline. You were the catalyst. You were the one who put a spark to this. You were the gasoline. You were the catalyst.
Oh, wow. So Nikos Page one with Lexicon Omega. I don't even know what that is. Wow, that's fantastic. Do you ever find the need to do vocal lining in a mix session, maybe manually or something like Revoice, or is that typically something you should be done afterwards? I do great question. I pretty much do whatever it takes to make the mix great. So sometimes we're retiming stuff. Occasionally I have to tune a note. Sometimes I'm using a sample because it's the only way to get the drums to sound better. We do whatever it takes. I think as a mix engineer these days, it is your job to make it better, not to completely change the band into something else, but to enhance what that is. Jens, we only do lifetime memberships like on certain drives. We keep them very special. However, if you are interested, and anybody is interested in a lifetime membership, email me at warren@producelikeapro.com for lifetime membership rates. Okay. Thank you, everyone. You have been amazing. And congratulations, Nikos, and everybody else that won. Please hit the like on your way out here. It always takes Pro Tools. God, dearie me. It's because somebody won with Pro Tools. It always takes YouTube a little bit of time with these live videos to get them back up. So I apologize, but please leave some comments below. If there's other questions that weren't answered, please do. If there's any burning desires, you can hit the super chat and I'll answer it in the next couple of minutes before we go. But ultimately, I would love to thank every one of the Academy members that's here and showing how incredible you are and how much you help each other. This really means a lot. It's fantastic that we can go live and like 200 people, come in and help each other like this and grow it together. If you haven't tried the Academy, it's free for 30 days at the moment. So pretty much you're locked down. You can go in, you can download these multi-tracks, you can mix the song. This is the song that we are critiquing. I think last week we had like 8 new people on it. and we choose 10 at a time, and like 8 were new people. So you've got a good chance of being chosen to have a mixed critique. People inside of the Academy will also answer and help. It's an amazing family, an amazing community of people that help each other. The super chat is like that little money button, and you will be helping donate towards all of the free courses that we're giving out to all of our essential workers. If you are an essential worker, email us at support@producelikeapro.com, and we will give you a course for free, anyone that you want to choose. Thank you, Nikos. We really appreciate it. Thank you for all of the love. Thank you, everybody here. Please hit that like button if you haven't already. What interface do you recommend, Tessa? I don't know. If you're just starting out, I say the Evo 4 is the way to go. It's cheap, cheerful, does the job, sounds really good. We didn't use any fancy stuff when we recorded the other day. That was all just plugging straight into the front of the Evo. All of that was recorded in the front of the Evo. And even though the video was only 10 minutes long, I came up with a really simple generic riff that I've used on 5 different songs over the years. And I wrote something quick over it. The lyrics, it was about 20 minutes. And just to prove that you could do it, because I wanted to say, like, it's inexpensive, does the job. So the Audient Evo 4 is my current favorite, easy to use, inexpensive IO. I want to try the SSL. I love the company. I own SSL products. So I will. Paul sent, it says, later, brah. So I think, how much is the Evo 4, Eric? How much is it?
Searching it up right now.
Yeah, he's looking it up right now. Super inexpensive. We'll do another review on it soon. I was just talking to actually Andy from Audient. Hi, Andy, if you're watching. Sent us an email about it. The SSL 2 Plus, the 2-input one is $279, and the Evo is
$129.
$129.
Yes.
$129. You watched the video I did with it a couple of days ago. I think we filmed it the night before and put it up. It's $129. So cheap, cheerful, does the job, sounds great. If you want to just get going and make music, $129. I will test the Antelope. I have no relationship with anybody over there. Nobody's ever reached out, so they probably, probably have enough people that they're interested in working with. So absolutely fine. Yes, if you want to join, it is $17 a month. The Academy, Evo 4 is €120, says Mike the Frank. So high quality, inexpensive, does the job. Don't make any money talking about it off of you. I have nothing to profit from it. I only have one ulterior motive. That is to help you make music. Just so you know, Audient didn't know we were doing that Evo 4 video. They did not know. I'd love to show you the email chain. It was really rather lovely. And it was just like, hey, good products, affordable. I'm not a paid shill. You can't just buy my liking. You've got to make something that works really well. I do a lot of Waves plugin stuff because I really, really like them, but I don't feature every plugin they do because I don't like every plugin they do. I feature the ones I like. Simple as that. And I do that with everybody. We Soothe 2 has been a plugin, once again, to show you here, that I have been threatening to review for 2 years or a year and a half since we interviewed Eric. And I finally did it because they brought out a new one and got to it. And then they generously gave a bunch to give away. Oh, wow. Ron. Woo! That's amazing. Thank you ever so much. That will go to pay towards the hosting costs of all of the courses we're giving away to essential workers. Our community at work there helping. Ron has just donated towards that. So thank you ever so much. Next person that downloads a free course that's an essential worker, thank you. In the back of your mind, remember that Mr. Ron C. helped that happen. Thank you ever so much. I'm getting all pins and needles and I've got all the hairs are standing up on my arm. Oh, it's so beautiful. So when you want to ask why you want to join the Academy, it's because you've got people like that who really give a crap. They care. They care. It really means a lot. Thank you ever so much. Ron, badass, helping people. Oh, I'm kind of teary-eyed. Thank you, Jens. Thank you, Ron C. Thank you, everybody. You really rock. I'm going to go into the Academy a little later. Next week, we will do next Wednesday. We will call this song up, keep working on it. So anybody that joins the Academy now, even on the 30-day, of course, free membership, just get in there, mix the song, and we'll hopefully we'll choose you. We've got Friday tomorrow. We're live in the Academy. So if you join now, you can get on live and see the same thing. We will listen to mixes and we'll critique them, and people will help and all that kind of stuff. It's really beautiful. Yeah. Chernobyl, we're going to give you a call on Skype in just a few minutes. I'm going to get a cup of tea and say hi to my kids because they all woke up after I left this morning to come into the studio before. This is not my first thing. It's not my third thing of the day. So I was in here before anybody was officially awake. They were just getting to stir. So I'm going to go Chernobyl Studios and make a cup of tea, see my kids for a few minutes, and then I'll give you a call. Thank you, everybody. Oh, when's my next Skype call?
Friday.
Oh, tomorrow. I don't have another one today?
Nope, I'm not seeing
Business one? Okay, great. I've just got calls to make now, so Chernobyl Studios will be first after it. Thank you, everybody. Hit the like button if you haven't already on your way out. Thank you, everybody that's donated towards all of the good causes. Thank you, everybody that's joined the Academy. Thank you to all of the prize winners. Congratulations, everybody that won today. Come back. We'll try and do live streams as much as freaking possible. This is really so much fun. These multi-tracks are available to download here. Free membership for 30 days. The Academy is down below. Do all of these things. See you in there. Have a marvelous time recording and mixing. See you all again very soon. So long. Farewell. Auf Wiedersehen. Au revoir.